Welcome to the Short Funk Podcast. I'm Tom Barbalet. Yesterday, I recorded Model Rail Radio in the morning, finished that, and walked to the Silicon Valley Lions, which is my local model train club. I've been a participant. Well, let me say I've been a member of Silicon Valley Lions for about a year and a half now. Some length of time, reasonable length of time. I joined soon after I moved here to our new house. The club meets frequently every Friday night and sometimes Saturday for an operating session, which is what was occurring yesterday when I went down. I really don't get to the Friday night sessions at all. My Friday nights tend to either be on call or recording a Stone Ape with Heron, or just kind of collapsed in a state, maybe in the bathtub, where I really shouldn't interact with people. And for that reason, I contribute financially to Silicon Valley Lions more than my standard membership. I basically give 3 times my membership. I'll be extending that to probably 4 times my membership this year. And I do that primarily because I can't attend the Friday night sessions. I mean, it seems to be some kind of moral obligation that I just can't make. So I make a financial obligation slightly more than a normal member does. My purpose for attending Saturday was not to participate in the operating session. I've only done a very brief amount of operating on Silicon Valley Lines. I think, moved a train backwards and forwards a few times to test a bridge connection, thanks to Dave Falkenberg, who is a Short Funk listener. But this Saturday I went to participate in the group photo. Dave Falkenberg again had given me plenty of notice that the group photo was going to be taken, so I concluded Model Rail Radio at a reasonable time frame, said goodbye to my wife, and went out for a walk. When I first arrived, I noticed that there was a gentleman who seemed somewhat familiar to me. Take your mind back to 1998. Tom, probably what I would have been 21 at the time, I think, maybe 22, went to Apple Computers, spent a day there in the company of a variety of engineers, and that day was organised by a gentleman who I suspected was at Silicon Valley Lions, as a visitor, not a member, just checking out what the whole thing was about. After a few more minutes, someone called him the name that was the gentleman's name. I thought to myself, that probably is the same gentleman. And as there are a couple of fruit factory employees at Silicon Valley Lions, I asked Rich Murphy, who happens to be one of them, whether that gentleman was in fact the same gentleman who had shown me around Apple in 1998. Turned out it was the same gentleman. After some toing and froing, we went out for the group photo. Just before the photo was taken, I leaned forward, stuck out my hand, said, "I'm Tom Barbalet. You invited me to Apple in 1998, and I spent a day there." And I don't think he recognised who I was. In fact, I don't even think my name registered. He made some comment, maybe a joke about my name, but it seemed just like I was probably one of maybe hundreds of people that he had hosted at Apple for one day. I was comfortable with that. It was a turning point in my life, but it didn't have to be a turning point in everyone's life. He also noted that he was retiring from Apple this coming week. And I thought to myself, what in the line of coincidences is the coincidence of me bumping into this gentleman the week before he retires from Apple? And what does this mean in the context of who I am, why I'm here, how this whole thing fits together? I don't comment frequently in Stone Ape associated with my simulation views, but my perspective is that I am a monkey in a simulation. And occasionally these kind of very far-reaching coincidences occur, and I reflect to myself, what do these coincidences actually mean? What is the probability of these coincidences occurring? And should I just give a nod and a wink to the potential of being in a simulation of some description at this stage? I don't know how to play this thing out, but a sufficient number of these things have occurred in my life that I start to wonder, is this purely random, or is this indicative of being a monkey in a simulation? Tom Barbalet in San Jose, signing out.